The Super over here with Jarrod Kimber and Jeremy Coney, who's very relaxed. He's chilled out. He's enjoyed the last hour. What was your favourite bit when Zak Crawley started shaking his hand violently? That was some of the best time wasting I've seen. And I was at a test match once where in the middle of his over, Stuart Broad took off his shoe.
Really?
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
No, that was up there, wasn't it? Yeah. Really, for time wasting. I mean, that's first class time wasting.
What's some of your best time wasting?
Time wasting? Calling for things.
Yeah.
I think, from various things from the shed.
I once in a game that took my shoelaces off and put them back together, but everyone saw that I'd undone the shoelaces.
I see.
And the umpires didn't like that. And then I was under pressure to do them very quickly because I was being yelled at as well. But
everyone was doing it out there, weren't they? I mean, Duckett was helping him as much as possible, and he was walking very slowly back in the way of the bowler and then slowly going across in front of the umpire. Well, everyone was doing it.
Zak Crawley could see a ghost behind the side screen at one stage, couldn't he, as well? Towards the end, we were on, and we were asked something by one of the people on the comments about whether India should declare. And at that stage, I think they were 8 down. Washington was still batting, and we were like, no, maybe they should. When they lost their 9th wicket, and then they came out, they lost the chance to bowl at least 1 or 2 extra overs just by stuffing around.
Yep.
It might have been better just to get off the field and let Bumrah bowl.
You may as well declare.
Yeah.
Declare, get on with the game, use time in the best way possible. It's the batting team when you get into a game like this where the scores are exactly the same, and it's time that matters, and it's the third team who are batting who really have to solve problems more than the fielding side. So let's get him in and maybe pick out a wicket or 2 would be great. But so I think they just wasted probably 20 minutes really there.
And there's a couple of chances for India tomorrow. One is obviously just bowling England out and getting a good score. The other is the 30 innings pickle theory, which is when England are not going to be sure how much they have to set, how much time, and it might get in their head, and they might actually give some wickets away. Still, the pitch is starting to deteriorate a little bit.
I think it is. We're getting some entropy. We're getting the deterioration of a pitch, and we're starting to see some just creeping a little bit lower. We're starting to see the odd one turn, and of course, Jadeja and Sundar are possibilities. So you're always getting the ball coming into or going away from left or right hand. So those are possibilities, very real possibilities actually for the Indians to use tomorrow. They've got Bumrah, of course, they can bring in and pull out and those sort of things. So they've got some options tomorrow. They seem to have more movement from a variety of their bowlers than perhaps England did.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with that as well. How excited were you for the Ben Stokes run out? It was an incredible moment because realistically, Rishabh Pant was trying to get KL Rahul back on strike before lunch so he could bring up his 100.
Yep.
And instead has managed to run himself out.
Yeah, well, it was just a poorly judged run in the end. You can't get round that because not only was Rishabh Pant, in trouble himself. Well, he only realised it when he was about a quarter of, and he had to accelerate wildly. But also KL Rahul was in trouble coming back towards the stump. So, but it was excellent athletic fielding from Stokes. Got to the ball quickly, realised that Punt hadn't really started to take off. And turned and saw 3 stumps and aimed and hit them. So probably run out by a foot, I would think.
Yeah.
So just a lovely athletic piece of fielding to break what was becoming a really, good partnership between those 2 players.
Just a word on KL Rahul's 100. I know you like it a lot. I wouldn't say you're anti-Rishabh Pant.
No, I'm not
but
at all.
But you're pro-KL Rahul.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say that, but I like the classical players who play conventionally and play it very well. So I think we saw drives, we saw pushes, we saw tucks off the pad, we saw cuts. So in other words, right around the ground he was able to score. Didn't really look in too much trouble, whether it was conventional bowling or movement, or whether it was short bowling, which of course England tried eventually. He always seemed to get down on top of the ball, never hurried, never hitting up in the air. At the other end, of course, he was sort of the ice, and then you had the fire, which comes from Rishabh Pant, and he played his aggressive style as he does, and very interesting always to watch what he does. He seems to be quite calculating about it, though. I'd have to say, calculating in the sense that, once he charges, Then up comes the keeper, Smith, and then, I mean, he even tried to charge while he was up there for a while, had to reach suddenly to get there, otherwise he'd been stumped. But then he sort of tried the falling over stroke too, the calculated sort of falling over, get it up over the keeper and so on. So he was trying to get to different and access different parts of the ground. So it does have a method about it as well.
Oh, no, I definitely think there's a method in there. It's not always easy to understand it as it's happening. Like there was a period today where he was just blocking ball after ball, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe his finger's hurt. He's going to just... And then suddenly he went, do you know what? I'm going to try and reverse sweep Chris Woakes.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a remarkable way that he plays. What do you think about Chris Stokes? He's wobbling the ball around a little bit, but Smith was up at the stumps. He's certainly not bowling like Chris Woakes used to.
Yeah, Woakes has got. Well, he picked up some cheaper wickets right at the end.
He did, yeah.
Which makes those figures look a little bit inflated, I think. But nevertheless, he plays a role within that kind of the rest of the bowlers whacking it in and trying to get some movement and so on from the ground and getting different bounce on these drier pitches. He pitches the ball up a little bit more, but he hasn't really found much swing, has he?
No, not compared to the Indian bowlers.
No, and so that's been quite surprising. But he's picked up a few at the end. He'll be delighted with that. Maybe it's a bit of a change of fortune for him, and who knows?
We've got a one-innings shootout. Do you like a one-innings shootout?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see just how determined England are once they look at their bowlers and say, how you feeling, lads? If they can get enough runs that they feel comfortable. Because I don't think they want to give the match, but they are kind of honour bound in the way they have been speaking, and their approach to cricket now is that they will probably give the other side a crack. How much of a chance we'll wait and see. They might be bowled out.
Yeah, it's very possible. We will see you here again tomorrow on talkSPORT Cricket.